Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah. You already know what time it is. It's that official time where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape. Definitely bringing you the Power Slam and Pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really could have devoured him. And from that point then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Power Slam show. Let's go! Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
You are now listening to the Pancakes and Power Slam show, hosted by Chris Featherstone and Derek of Crave Wrestling. This is the new Tuesday Night Titans.
Episode 189. We are here live in the books, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to turn it up. It is the Pancakes and Power Slam show. We are here. We are live in living color. Getting funky like a monkey, if you will. I just feel a wonderful just burst of positive energy, and I'm really excited, Derek. I know this is going to be a wonderful, exciting 189th episode for us tonight.
Hey, it's 189. How could you not be more ecstatic than anyone else? It's Pancakes and Power Slam, Tuesday night. We are here. Everybody is here that needs to be here, that chose to be here. We're here. This is the cosmic universe of wrestling, and it's about to get started. It has started. If you've just joined us, you're late. No excuses. This is it. Chris, what's going on tonight in the world of wrestling?
What's going on is we're going to talk about the breaking news of last week. After the show, Seth Rollins, the diagnosis of his injury came out, and he's out for 6 to 9 months. So we're going to talk about what transpired on Raw as far as this incredibly lame excuse of a tournament bracket that was constructed by the WWE. We'll talk about that. But on the positive note, there's a few things. There's a few things that transpired within this week that's I'm very grateful for. Two things. One, we got a big interview coming next week. So at the top of the second half of the show, I will let you all know who the interview is for the next week. Thank you, Greg Gagne, for gracing us with your interview presence and being such just like I said before, just a very noble, upstanding guy, taking away time for a family emergency for the sake of being with the show. I will forever be grateful for that. So thank you, Greg Gagne, for spending the past couple months with us, and we'll give you updates and announcements of Greg Gagne in the future, but we got a big interview next week. So this person's been in WWE and TNA, and I'm not going to give any more hints on this person. So just beware. Just be ready. At the top of the hour, the top of the second half of the show, we will go ahead and officially make that announcement. Speaking of announcements, so here's the thing, and we're going to have loads and loads of Undertaker trivia tonight, so brace yourself and prepare for that. Here's the thing, I have been doing on this journalism road for quite some time now. As far as writing for big sites, about 4 years I've been writing for big sites, wrestling, all things pro wrestling. And I knew it was going to be a tough hill to climb, a big hill to climb, and I was prepared for the journey of wherever it's going to lead me to. I just knew that I was going to continue to share my knowledge, my scholarly knowledge, and my passion for professional wrestling. I was going to let others know what goes inside the mind of Chris Featherstone when it comes to professional wrestling. And I was just, I'm a strong man of faith, and everybody knows that. And so I was just, believing God to just take the wheel and lead me the right way. So I was privileged to write for the Bleacher Report for 3.5 years, and it was great, almost 3.5 years. Great experience writing for the Bleacher Report. This radio show, Pancakes and Powerslams, has been on the air for over 3.5 years, and will continue to run strong on the air weekly. So this week I get a notification, and I get an opportunity, and would like to make the announcement here live on the Pancakes and Powerslams show that Chris Featherstone is now writing for Sports Illustrated. So I'm really, really excited about that. Of course, I'm going to be writing wrestling articles and anything else that tickles my fancy when it comes to sports. But when the opportunity first presented itself, I wanted to write wrestling and made that known, and I will be writing pro wrestling. You can catch my articles on one of their feature sections called The Cauldron. I have a live article coming up this week, so check it out. So thank you all for your support, and check out my articles on Sports Illustrated. How about that? So just very grateful for the journey that I'm continuing to have on this writing tip, this journalism tip, and I'm just excited for the future. And I appreciate all your support, and continue to support me as I just continue to go higher and higher, and just looking forward to this journey with Sports Illustrated.
Hey, and everyone, great congratulations to Chris. I've always got your back, because wrestling is everything to me, everything to you, obviously. You've really taken the challenge. You've done everything you can for the wrestling community. Everybody here at Pancakes and Powerslams loves you. And look at the chat room. Everyone is absolutely praising everything, the footsteps that you put forth for wrestling, period. As far as, on a lower scale, you're just bringing it to the masses. Everybody that wants to listen, they can listen. They can get the straight answer with Chris Featherstone. So, I'm happy to be a part of the Pancakes and Powerslams. Everyone in the chat room is, everybody with We Are Wrestling. It's all great. And continue. You're just going to get nothing but better and better and higher, and we've all got your back. We're all behind you, and you're going to make it to the promised land, and I'm going to be the first one to shake your hand.
Thank you, man. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate all the support that's been going on. Just, I am a man of humble upbringings, and I've been through quite a bit of my life. That's a book in and of itself. And so, yeah, just a lot, and I understand how important it is to really appreciate things that happen in your life, major things that happen in your life, and I always love to give back to. That's why I love this Pancakes and Powerslams show. I love, the awesome people over at WAWNation.com, and Yeah, it's just my way of giving back. I really appreciate the fact that, when I was writing for WrestlingInc.com, they liked my work and they, brought me right on over to the site. And I remember when I first went on the WAWNation site, the site is absolutely amazing now. If you're listening to this outside of being on the WAWNation.com, you should probably check them out. Awesome site design, of course, up-to-date news, and very competitive and awesome rapid growth in the past few years. I remember when I first knew about WAWNation, I wasn't too familiar with the site. I just knew that my work was being posted over there, and I was getting some messages, and some of the people who were working at the site at the time, they were big, fans of my work over at WrestlingInc.com. And they just start plugging my work over from Bleacher Report as well. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a way to introduce me over to the site. And I quickly became great colleagues with the family over there, and used my work to kind of propel them and give them some good substance for their site initially. And so it's that was a couple years ago, and it's evolved into a great partnership between myself and We Are Wrestling, WAWNation.com, and looking forward to bigger and better. I appreciate the people over there, and just writing for Sports Illustrated now. I'm the type of person who still understands the power of giving back. So, do not think that this is a goodbye at the WAWNation. I'll be writing for Sports Illustrated, and I'll spend a lot of my time writing there. But don't you think that I'm leaving or going anywhere? I'll be here. Pancakes and Powerslams show will be here every Tuesday, going strong as always. So, very excited about just the journey and what Sports Illustrated has to offer, and check out my articles. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Undertaker trivia, loads and loads of Undertaker trivia tonight. Undertaker is celebrating his 25th anniversary here in the WWE, and the Survivor Series is surrounded, and revolved around the Undertaker, and so might spoil a little bit for you. For those who aren't big fans of spoilers, I'll give you a spoiler alert, and maybe you can mute it for a little bit or something like that. But the Survivor Series match for Undertaker and Kane is set, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of our Raw recap. It was confirmed on SmackDown what the match is going to be, and we'll talk a little bit about that and how that's going to come about. First Undertaker trivia question is, who introduced The Undertaker at his Survivor Series debut? Who introduced The Undertaker at his Survivor Series debut? So Seth Rollins has this unfortunate injury that's going to put him on the shelf for 6 to 9 months, forcing the WWE to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion at Survivor Series. Now, Roman Reigns had the number one contendership from winning the four-way match, but he has to go in the back of the line. However, he was offered a spot in the Authority, or as Triple H say, for him to be his man. And so here's the thing with that. It was an interesting way to insert Roman Reigns into the tournament, at least there was some type of explanation of putting Roman Reigns in the tournament. However, here's the thing: it could have had some potential. It ran for about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. And again, I say, why in the world are you putting a mic on Roman Reigns? And I will continue to say that. I just, this show, the Pancakes and Powerslam show, transcends to enough listeners for what I'm saying right now to be heard, and somehow heard with someone in WWE. It's so funny, real quick on a side note, I just YouTube, none of the Pancakes and Powerslam show are on YouTube. Hopefully soon we'll manage to put all 189 now episodes on YouTube. But it's so funny that we have listeners that records the show and puts the interviews on YouTube. I just listened to my interview of Rico Constantino a few days ago. It was pretty funny, and I had no idea who this person is who ripped the interview and put it on YouTube. But I'm cool with that as long as you're not making any money off of it. then we have an issue. But thank you for listening enough to do that. But yeah, the thing is, there's enough people who listen to the show, hopefully, to allow my voice to be heard with saying this, and it's worth repeating because of that very purpose. Keep the mic off of Roman Reigns. And why? Okay, if Roman Reigns is your guy, if Roman Reigns is the next guy, why are you not protecting him to the fullest? You're putting a mic on Roman Reigns. Triple H is doing a good job cutting a promo, cutting it a very, edgy, aggressive promo. And Roman Reigns having the opportunity to shake his hand. I'm okay with all of that. Make it short, make it sweet, make it succinct. Roman Reigns says no. Roman Reigns says yes. Roman Reigns says that's not my style. Something very short. Don't cut a promo after Triple H cuts a promo to you just to say no. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's a horrible way to protect Roman Reigns. And then I'm supposed to actually be intrigued, or I'm supposed to act as a fan. I'm supposed to sit back and say, "Oh my goodness, well, Roman Reigns, you said no. Oh, here comes the Big Show. Now you done messed up here." When Roman Reigns has beat Big Show countless amount of times, so I don't know who they're booking for here, and it doesn't make sense at all. Especially when you're in the UK crowd, one of the smarkiest crowds in the entire world, if not the smarkiest crowd in the entire world. And I don't understand how you're supposed to make that believable. Roman Reigns says no, and his consequence for it is competing against a person who he continues to beat over and over again. It was convoluted. It didn't make any sense to me. The positive that I extracted out of that was, I think that may have been a red herring to what we may see in the future, which may be a Dean Ambrose turn. I think it may be a red herring, and I hope so. As we go, to SummerSlam, we'll talk a little bit deeper into that. And I said that on the show a few weeks ago. I think they may be kind of manifesting a Dean Ambrose turn. I think that segment could have been a red herring to it, and I certainly hope so, because if we see an Ambrose turn at the end of it, I think that was kind of a way. I think that was kind of at least a decent way to kind of divert us away from the turn, from the Ambrose turn. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but again, too much mic work, too much mic time for Roman Reigns. Too much extra mic time that was unnecessary.
I do it totally unnecessary. We didn't see it. I mean, Wade did a great job building Roman Reigns. And we knew at the end that Roman wasn't going to just fall to his Triple H or God. That's just no way that is going to happen. And we all knew that, so it wasn't believable from the start. And with the Ambrose turn, that's great. I'm excited to see that. It would almost be a straw in the hat to say that, what if Reigns makes a turn and actually joins Triple H? But the tournament itself is kind of a bland. I can see how they do it. You have to do it. What else are you going to do? But Roman, I'm still not at the point where put the title on him. It's believable. It's still force-fed to me. He's had a natural, organic grow since WrestleMania when he didn't win the title. But to the point, it's still almost like they're going to feed us that Roman Reigns has to have the title. And unless he joins the authorities, then that would be great. So that way, he does a heel turn. Roman Reigns is bad. Ambrose stays good. It's kind of hard to say. But anyway, the beginning of last night's show was kind of boring because we all know Reigns isn't going to succumb to that in the first try. There's just no way.
Yeah, here's the thing. We don't need the same Ambrose that we're getting. That's something, like we can, I think that we can endure the same Reigns because he has, he has got that organic push this year, outside for the past almost 8 months, or a little over 7 months. He's gotten that organic push. So at least we're seeing some character development with Roman Reigns, and people are getting much more behind him in support of him than Ambrose. Ambrose has been just a roller coaster, unstable character the entire year. He's been the second fiddle, in the main event scene. He's been second fiddle to Roman Reigns, during his feud. He's just Dean Ambrose has yet to really receive an identity for his character. He just, he comes out with the tank top and the jeans. He acts loony. He acts, and that's really what we get with Dean Ambrose. I think that if out of the two, Ambrose is the one who needs to. He can afford a character change better, much more than Reigns. If Reigns turned heel, it just seems like, it'll be an easy way out. Yeah, he'll be heel. Yeah, he'll be with the authority. But to me, it'll be easy way out. It'll be a creative, easy way out because, it needs to get to the point where creative is actually building stars like they should. And it's time to build stars, and I've said this many times. I even wrote an article about it. It is time to build stars to be that next level top babyface. There's no one in the entire company right now that has that next level top babyface of appeal. Even as a heel, you have people like Kevin Owens, that has the potential to kind of break through and become, that next heel. I still don't see main eventing Kevin Owens yet, but at least he has the potential. And of course, Alberto Del Rio, which MexAmerica is just a total waste of time. Maybe we'll get back to that later, but I just want to be very clear of how useless and pointless MexAmerica is. It was, like I said before, it was dead weight from the very beginning, and they're going to cut a promo on England to draw heat, and because you're MexAmerica? Why are you drawing heat to England? And first of all, and second of all, why are you giving Alberto Del Rio a microphone? Why are they both coming out to a microphone and Coulter is supposed to be Del Rio's spokesperson? Why are you even giving Del Rio a microphone? He's not good on the mic as far as the bland bland heel kind of tone and that he's doing. It didn't work before. It's not going to work again. And why even have Zeb Coulter if you're giving Alberto Del Rio a microphone to cut a promo with Coulter? This is a debacle of a creative. I mean, this basically perfectly describes the creative team, the creative direction. You have someone who comes in. First of all, he accepts John Cena's open challenge. Pop. He hasn't been there for a year. Pop. He's making his return. Pop. He defeated John Cena. Pop. He was giddy and celebratory when he beat John Cena. Pop. 5 reasons from the very beginning why people did and should have popped for Alberto Del Rio. And you totally just damper the whole thing by having this ridiculous alliance with Zeb Coulter, who's in a wheelchair with a MexAmerica flag behind him. There's nothing positive that can come out of this. Absolutely nothing. And their promo in England made it that much worse.
I couldn't have said it any better. I don't think anyone can. It's just absolute filler. There's nothing behind this. There's no faction. There's no people behind it. It's just Zeb coming out in a scooter, yapping off all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous. Alberto, he doesn't need the microphone that long. And the rant about the stupid thing has nothing to do with anything like MexAmerica. It's garbage. Alberto Del Rio doesn't need Zeb Coulter. I don't know if anyone needs Zeb Coulter. I mean, it's just kind of a dried up fossil of a character that nothing makes sense. So, I mean, why have this here? There's nothing. You got it right. That's what creative is right now. It's America. It's Generation X. It's not, you're not going to have anything out of it. That's ridiculous. Scrap it. Forget about it. You don't need Dutch Mantel there anymore. You give. Alberto Del Rio can do so much more without Zeb Coulter. He's got the title of the U.S. Championship. Keep that. Let him do that. Let him do open challenges again. You don't need this filler garbage. It's almost like the Divas division. Any comments, Chris?
It's tough to set up an alley-oop to me when you're talking about the Divas division. It very, very much is. Ted DiBiase is the correct answer. Next is, what Survivor Series was Undertaker a member of? What Survivor Series team was Undertaker a member of in 1993? What Survivor Series team was Undertaker a part of in 1993? Interesting question there. All right, so we get Kevin Owens against Titus O'Neil, and this just makes it that much worse. And again, it's one of those things that there's lifer, there's WWE lifers. I'm one of those guys. You're one of those guys. We're WWE lifers. We kind of have a mentality that we want that type of respect. We kind of demand that type of respect as WWE fans, as WWE lifers. We kind of demand that type of respect because we're thinking in our heads, okay, we're spending so much time, we've invested so much time in watching wrestling and continuing to watch wrestling that, unfortunately we'll put up with anything, But I mean, don't just sit here and insult our intelligence. At least respect the fact that we're the ones that are keeping you, afloat. We're the fans that are keeping you afloat. Over the past 15 years, you've lost millions upon millions of frequent fans. However, we're the ones that are the lifers. We're the ones that are the diehards. We're the ones that are keeping your show alive. And don't sit there and insult our intelligence by having a tournament of these people competing for a the World Heavyweight Championship. So you're coming to tell me if I'm looking at a tournament here, I'm as a diehard pro wrestling fan and as a WWE lifer, I'm supposed to believe that Kalisto is going to be the new, in 4 more matches, Kalisto is going to be your new heavyweight champion. I'm supposed to believe that Stardust is going to be your new heavyweight champion. I'm supposed to believe that Titus O'Neil is going to be your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I'm supposed to believe that these people are going to be Tyler Breeze from not competing at all to 4 matches away being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. How does that make any sense in anyone's mind? I don't care if you are a casual fan, in the greatest sense of casual. First of all, you have no clue who Kalisto is if you're a casual fan. And why do you care who Kalisto is if you're a casual fan? Because Kalisto has done nothing to you to spark your interest as a casual fan. So why would you even insult our intelligence and include someone like Kalisto in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament? That stuff bothers me, and I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's just a poor excuse of booking. And I understand that they were, in the UK, so you couldn't bring many surprises. You couldn't do the Cena thing because he, was doing, television here in the States. You couldn't do the Brock thing because, it may have been scrambled booking and you already had some people, scheduled for the UK. I get it. But I would have rather saw an 8-man tournament match, or 8-man tournament matches that would either be announced next week or started next week, just enough to bring a Final Four. The semifinals, could have been done at Survivor Series. I'd rather seen an 8-man tournament of 8 quality wrestlers than some ridiculous 16-man tournament that 12 of the 16 men has no chance of becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Such a pathetic way to attempt to get me intrigued about this tournament. It was absolutely a horrendous decision by the WWE.
It was horrendous. Nobody wants to see that because obviously, like you said, all of the 6 men are going to make it. So why put all this? They're at their last gasp. They've got so many people out that are important. Cena, Orton, Rollins. They don't know what else to do. So obviously they're just going to throw a huge tournament together, hope that it works like they did back in WrestleMania 4. It's not going to. Even back in WrestleMania 4, you still had a lot more people that were almost believable to be the champion other than what they are right now. So obviously, you got the Reigns, Ambrose. Things just aren't going to work out for the WWE because they just kind of really jumped the gun and made this look like a ridiculous thing that people aren't going to pick up on. Okay, it's believable that, we're going to make Cesaro champion, God forbid, which would be awesome. But they're not going to do that. They're just going to leave it to the final few. And for the most part, it's almost predictable. But what else is WWE really going to do? I don't understand how there was anything else that they could have done. What else? What other filler could they have other than make this giant tournament to make things somewhat relevant to make it that much better? There's not a whole lot else they could have done. So I guess, making matches, foolish matches with Reigns against Big Show. Obviously, he's beaten Big Show so many times, and everyone knows Big Show's not going to be in the final. But they had to do it anyway because they're at their wits' end and they've got nothing else to do.
Yeah, Kalisto against Ryback. Am I supposed to be excited about Kalisto versus Ryback? Am I supposed to think that Kalisto or Ryback has a chance of becoming the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Ryback has been stale for months. And so I'm supposed to think that he's going to be the guy who carries the banner. Make this stuff believable here. Make it believable. Give me people who, even if it's someone, like an underdog guy, like someone who can kind of rise up from the ashes. Someone like who knows, Curtis Axel. I would have rather seen Curtis Axel in the tournament only because he's been tweeting about it. He said he'll sell out. He brings that appeal of he hasn't been around in a while, from on television, so he kind of bring a sense of freshness. He could be a dark horse. I can understand that from a dark horse standpoint. I'm a big tournament guy. I love March Madness, and of course, I love the in the NCAA playoffs because the Ohio State Buckeyes won the very first one. But and they were the underdogs. They were the dark horses, in this whole thing. Out of Alabama, Oregon, and Florida State, Ohio State was the dark horses. A lot of people didn't believe they deserved to be there, and they ended up winning the whole thing. If they had a dark horse in there, I'm cool. But I am not going to believe that Kalisto is going to be a dark horse. I'm not going to believe that Tyler Breeze, very athletic, loved him in NXT, loved his work in NXT. But I'm not going to believe that he's going to be a dark horse. I'm not going to believe that Titus O'Neil, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a dark horse. I'm not going to believe that Stardust is going to be a dark horse in this championship. I'm not going to believe that The Miz is going to be a dark horse in this championship, championship tournament. Barrett, yes, he hasn't gained much at all. He's just been pointless, so pointless. But I'm not totally upset that someone like Barrett's in it. But you have people who they have no shot of winning the championship, and they're in the tournament. Such a waste of time. And to add on to that, how are you going to develop more matches for the Survivor Series card? So you know what this means. This means that we're just going to see a bunch of thrown together 8 to 10 man tag team matches that has no payoff, that has no merit to them, no build. We're just going to be seeing a bunch of thrown together matches. New Day has no, title contenders outside of the Usos and Lucha Dragons, but they're not doing very good with developing them. They beat the Usos and Neville, so why would we believe that the Usos have a shot? And so the title picture, less than 2 weeks out, the title picture is stale. The New Day is awesome as always, but the title picture is not very strong. The U.S. title picture is not very strong because Alberto Del Rio's in the tournament. He won. He won his match. So how are we supposed to believe, the Intercontinental tournament, the Intercontinental title? Owens won his match. They were going to do him and Ambrose, but the Intercontinental title is not strong going into Survivor Series. So what type of matches are we going to get to, leading into Survivor Series? That's your second oldest pay-per-view in WWE history, one of your big four, and there's no build. I understand, this happened because of, this happened because of the unfortunate injury, but however, you could have totally, kept development of other angles while in this tournament instead of just having 16 people thrown together with hopes of causing intrigue to the fans at the expense of developing other strong angles. It doesn't make sense at all. And I don't want to spoil SmackDown for you. I just don't want to do it. But I want to, but I don't want to. But it's just absolutely ridiculous that what we're seeing with the winners of the tournament. So there's one person who's going to lose on SmackDown that isn't really much anyways, but at the same time, doesn't make sense for him to lose at all against the person who he went against. So it just doesn't make any sense at all. I see someone saying the Dudleys here in the live stream. I'm not sold. The Dudleys have had their shot. They can't be number one contenders anymore if they've had numerous chances to win the titles and they've lost. They've either won by DQ or they've lost, and the most recent match they lost. So the Dudleys are pretty much they've pretty much faded their own selves out. They're much respect to the Dudleys, but they're more of a nostalgia act now, and people it just goes to show you can't just bring names in anymore and expect that name, whatever name or names you bring in, to have enough steam themselves to be over. The Dudley Boys is a perfect example. People popped when they came. Now people can care less about the Dudley Boys, and that's the same thing with Sting. People know that I'm a Sting mark to the day I die, but you can't just bring people in for the sake of their names and expect it to be something. Sting's character has been marred and just so abused and misused in this year that just throwing him in different spots for his namesake is not going to do anything. And so it's just a horrible way of building stuff, and there's no angles going in. There's no hot angles going into your second oldest pay-per-view in history. Just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, they've buried so many people. And Sting, for one thing, to really just make Sting look like this nobody, that he was a big deal back in the day, but he's nothing now. All I'm supposed to do with Chris Jericho, especially the Dudleys, even with Kane. There's so much misuse with the veterans of the business, WWE, but of the business. There's not a whole lot you can really say. That said, the Dudleys come in. I love it. I was almost convinced that the team picker was going to change. It did not change. When Sting came in, I was almost got the belt on. It did not happen. It would have made sense. It would have been great for Sting, great sell. Didn't happen. Continuously. He didn't be with the structure. I don't want to give away Raw, but obviously, it's not going to add up to what it wants to be, what it should be. But for the most part, WWE just kind of buries people anymore. You still have Triple H there. I mean, he should be in the category of the people that they want to bury for the fact that he's got something that WWE used to really hone on to. They still do, but just the way that they rep careers, and I think people is relevant. I'm kind of tired of it. There's no room for that anymore. And so with the whole tournament and everything, the state of the WWE is just kind of a downfall because they've got the Dudleys saying, I can say it a million times. I mean, these people can contribute so much now, they don't want them to. Or they just don't let them for whatever reason. It's total great. And it's, again, why do we still watch this product when it kind of buries the people that made the product?
Because we are pro wrestling lifers, and we get a bunch of benefit by looking at the product and spending 90 minutes within our week. Unfortunately, having to bear such a very bad product, but it pales in comparison to the amazing relationships that we have built at WAWNation.com and on YouTube and through Facebook and through Twitter and other avenues, other podcast avenues, and on YouTube and all the other relationships that we've built over the past 3.5 years. It pales in comparison to you guys. I would watch awful wrestling any day to talk about it and have a good time doing trivia. Speaking of trivia, the All-Americans is the correct answer. Great job. Next question is, what event did The Undertaker suffer his first singles loss? What event did The Undertaker suffer his first singles loss? The next will watch till I die. I agree. I agree. I'm a pro wrestling lifer. You know what the funny thing is? I don't think I'm going to announce that tonight. I'm going to tease it. I'm not going to announce that tonight, but I'm working on some things. I'm working on some things from a writing standpoint. So just get ready. I'm doing some things, and expect it soon. Because I'm doing something that's in the works, and it's going to be very, very awesome and interesting. This Tuesday in Texas, I'm gonna read this comment here. Great comment. There's always a small glimmer of hope that keeps people watching. Also, add up the years we've been watching and the money we've put in. It's impossible to give up, considering it's somewhat of an investment. I agree. I totally agree. And of course, as I've said before with the Q&A, and I've said this before, I grew up watching 80s wrestling, and my great-grandma, I was blessed to live on this earth with my great-grandmother until 1995. So, I was just a teenager, and I was graced to do that. And she passed away, in 95, probably the most devastating moment of my life. But she left so much, and one thing that she left that I'll never give up is her love for professional wrestling. I grew up watching professional wrestling because of my great-grandmother. And just her love for professional wrestling, and the very fact that she allowed me as a little bitty boy to sit in front of her while she was on her recliner. I sat in front of her on the floor watching the floor model TV, watching some Clash of the Champions and some superstars, and just watching some WCW Worldwide and just some NWA World Championship Wrestling, and just watching that, and for that I'll forever watch wrestling. And now I financially benefit from watching wrestling now, so it's great because I financially benefit from doing it, and it's even a better reason for me to watch wrestling. So, yeah, it's great. And it's unfortunate. I don't like what I see, but I love the relationships and the partnerships that I've developed from it. So, that's a positive spin to something that's very unfortunate, which is a WWE product. This Tuesday in Texas is correct. Great job. See, I love asking trivia questions to people who knows their stuff. I absolutely love it. Next question is, what was the Undertaker's name when he debuted? What was the Undertaker's name when he debuted? We kind of glossed over Kevin Owens versus Titus O'Neil. It was worth glossing over. I kind of went into a tangent by that match because there's no way that I was going to think Titus O'Neil was going to win. Just doesn't make any sense at all. Becky Lynch defeats Paige, and then Paige attacks Lynch post-match. Charlotte runs out to save. And again, you know your audiences. You know your crowds. Watch tape. Pay attention to that stuff. If you're trying to protect wrestlers, book accordingly. You have the power to book matches. You have the power to book the entire show. Book according to your crowd. Paige is the hometown or the home country girl. She's English. So why are you having Charlotte, the champ, who's a babyface, run out to save Paige? It would have made perfect sense, since he's still kind of doing that whole Divas Revolution thing. Sasha's over. It would have made sense for Paige to go against Sasha. I know that they're doing the whole thing with Natalya. It just seems like they're just trying to give something to Natalya. But it would have made perfect sense to see a match, just a simple Divas match between Paige and Sasha Banks. And whoever wins between Paige and Sasha, Charlotte, if you want to see the presence of Sasha, if you want to see the presence of Charlotte, it would have made more sense if possibly Paige would have beat Sasha, or Paige would have beat, I don't know. I have a thing for just protecting somebody like Tamina. Tamina is so underrated. She's probably one of the most underrated roster members of the entire of it all, of the entire list of wrestlers in the WWE. Tamina is probably, in my vote, probably top 3 most underrated people of the entire roster. There's no way that she should just be losing just about every match she fights. She has the look, and she probably can legit beat up anybody backstage that's a female, and she's the one who's getting the most losses. It just doesn't make sense at all to me. So I wouldn't have Paige beat Tamina, but I would have Paige beat like Naomi or Charlotte, and then she gets jumped by Team Bad. And of course Becky Lynch and Charlotte seemingly does not help her. Nobody helps her backstage, and all of a sudden Charlotte can come out, make the save, and just kind of look at Paige, because she, that's a way of Charlotte not getting heat. She would actually get pops. She's a babyface. She needs to get pops. She would get pops in England by saving Paige, not because she likes Paige, is because she wants Paige to be 100% in their match. So why couldn't you do something like that? Instead, you decide for Paige to actually lose cleanly. She's the number 1 contender. She loses cleanly 2 weeks before her title match, which makes absolutely no sense. Then she attacks Becky Lynch. Of course, she's getting cheered because she's in her home country. And Charlotte comes out to save Becky Lynch. And so we're supposed to, if I'm in the UK, I'm supposed to cheer the person who's trying to attack my hometown girl? Logic. I mean, where is it? Again, it doesn't make any sense. from a logical standpoint, for me as a citizen of the UK to cheer our representative here, Paige, which makes sense, but I'm not supposed to cheer her because the baby face in the States comes out. I don't get it. She should have been attacked by bad. Charlotte should have made the save and just kind of gave Paige that look as she's getting up and walk out the ring. That's a way to suspend reality. People are at the edge of their seats wondering if something's going to happen. Charlotte's going to get popped because she's saving the hometown girl. But that makes much more sense to what we saw. But I guess that's too much like right. It just doesn't make sense that they wouldn't think of something like that of protecting Charlotte. But it was just another debacle in booking of how they mapped that all out.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, Paige, the hometown girl, absolutely should have gotten the greatest adulations last night. Didn't happen. With Becky Lynch, and they have Charlotte run out. The whole thing was just an absolute debacle. They could have made it to where it was somewhat believable. I mean, give Paige the pops. I mean, she's the reason a lot of people are there because she's the hometown girl. But they just make it look like an absolute schmoz. Becky Lynch didn't need that win last night. Paige did need the win. She did need it's going to do so much for the team, for the D division. And, Paige attacking Becky afterwards, no sense, Chris. I mean, the whole thing, that was one shot that WWE could have had last night with Monday Night Raw, and they absolutely blew it. And, again, that's what they do because it's Divas division, and they've got no pulse on that to really distinguish what they need to do with it. So, I mean, absolute throwaway match.
Exactly. Who eliminated Kane the Undertaker is the correct answer. Who eliminated Undertaker from the 1993 Royal Rumble? Who eliminated the Undertaker from the 1993 Royal Rumble? Our announcement's coming up here in a little bit, but before that, let's get to Dolph Ziggler versus Miz. Throwaway match for me. Miz, he has no steam going behind him whatsoever. It would have made sense for me. To me, it would have made sense for the Miz to kind of get something, kind of get a push over. To me, because it have made sense for Breeze to cost Ziggler the match against Miz, and then Miz win, and then Ziggler comes back out and causes Breeze the match against Ambrose. There's your steam with the Ziggler and Breeze feud. There's the match at Survivor Series. But why in the world do we care about an Ambrose-Ziggler match? Of course it's going to be a fantastic match, but at the same time, Ziggler has no shot of winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in this tournament, especially since he already has a feud going on with Tyler Breeze. And Tyler Breeze, his first match he loses cleanly to Ambrose. It would make much more sense if Ziggler would have came out and distracted Breeze. I would have, again, I keep using this word because I mean it so much. It would have protected the character of Tyler Breeze if he would have had a distraction losing his first match on the main card. If he would have been distracted by Ziggler to have Ambrose win because of distracting Ziggler in his loss. And Ambrose versus Miz would have, it would be a good match, so it would make sense. You got a babyface out there, and Ambrose. You got a heel and Miz. Nice ebbs and flows. It would have gained more steam for Ambrose, because if you want Ambrose to be the guy, you want to, again, protect his character, and you want him to get as much babyface steam as he possibly can. And beating someone like The Miz would have made perfect sense instead of beating someone who would probably split the audience with him and Dolph Ziggler. Come on now. Again, the word logic is thrown out the window. I don't get it. Why are you having a match between Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose? And again, that match just has match of the night written all over it potentially, but this is not a good time to do it, especially if you're trying to build this feud and make us care about this feud between Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze, especially if you're trying to gain some momentum for Tyler Breeze for being called up to the main roster. Have them distract each other's matches. That protects both of their characters and their losses. Makes perfect sense to me, but obviously it didn't make perfect sense to the WWE.
Of course not. And The Miz, anything with him just doesn't. Again, why is he in the tournament for the championship? I mean, he had his time 5 years ago. It's not going to be repeated. Dolph Ziggler, Ambrose would have been an awesome match, and it will be a great match one of these days when that does happen. Tyler Breeze being in there. I mean, again, he's a newcomer. Why would he be in the tournament? It's like putting Adam Rose in the tournament. It makes no sense. There's no reason for it. And Tyler Breeze just doesn't have that it factor yet to be considered the championship of the WWE. Not booking at all. Absolutely travesty. I mean, Dolph and Miz could have been a great match, but it wasn't. And again, I think the Miz kind of check that on. He's not a believable character anymore, and anytime you see him, you know he's going to fail in defeat. There's just nothing around it.
Right, exactly. All right, on the other side of the break, we're going to have the announcement of the interview. But before the break, I have 2 trivia questions in one for you. Okay? John Gonzalez is the correct answer for the 93 Royal Rumble. 2 trivia questions to ponder on during the break. 1, who eliminated Undertaker at the Royal Rumble 91? Who eliminated The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble 91? 2, who did The Undertaker defeat in his first WrestleMania match? Again, who eliminated Undertaker at the Royal Rumble 91? And who did The Undertaker defeat in his first WrestleMania match? We'll be back after the break.
Bring what you got. The measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
4 corners, free. Armand, let's go. The whole squad is making it clear we taking this year. You know who we are, but you don't know why we here. So this is where the big boys play. These big boys play like who defies the living God? Get out the big boys' way. Outsiders with the swoop in. We live as kings, you seeing us, but our third man waits in the wings. And when the time is right, we shock them with the proper attack. I go for Dolo, but ain't solo. Cut the promo in black. Hollywood, Hendrix, Frizzle, pinning them to the max. And I'm Das Wonderkin with the strength of 100 men, with 1 intent to see the will fulfilled of the one who sent his son to give himself. But you rap about your gats and your rags torture. White coffins when I drop a bomb. My mic's awesome, never lost faith. You in our space, you can all skate, suffer but never crippled. No bin walls in my cross face. From here to Saturday Raven, anticipating. I was frostbit, now I am Glacier, mixed with some Vader. Get to hawking with these animals, using God for my defense. In Alabama we jamming, that's beautiful Bobby Eaton. Me and Priest, we the dangerous alliance. Nah, the Harlem Heat, tie the do-rag before we do battle. You're talking shit, you all what you speak, this too sweet. Till the genre is took back, we reppin' that wolf pack. The foundation shaking, no mistaking, yeah, we shook that. Trust in God we trust, pushing forward, never look back. Meekness ain't at all weakness, some people mistook that. Stamping out this crook rap, he turning the power on the razor's edge. Leg drop after a power bomb. Tired of the lies, man, we bringing the truth through. Diligent and fruitful, the owners in our group too. It's good to be king, sold out, this war is brutal. We playing them war games, our army go lose too. You through, I'm in the rafters with a bat in my hand, and stand to shatter all your plans so they don't matter. In the grand scheme, it's that easy. We tag teaming, Steiner brothers, we love it. Demand the win, establish it. This the clash of the champions.
This is where the big boys play, huh? We ain't here to play.
Former X Division champion in TNA, managed Kurt Angle, managed the Great Khali, managed Muhammad Hassan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Daivari will be on the show next week. We're going to have some fun talking to Daivari about his time in Lucha Underground and, of course, TNA, and, of course, managing Kurt Angle when he won the World Heavyweight Championship. So it'll be really fun. Some ebbs and flows of his time in the WWE. How was it actually working with the Great Khali? What's his thoughts about the Great Khali and him being champion? We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Of course, why the abruptness of Muhammad Hassan? There's a lot of stories going around of why Muhammad Hassan was abruptly halted. So Daivari will give us the actual truth and live and in living color. We will have him on the show next week, so be sure to tune in to listen to Daivari next week. I'm excited. He's excited as well, so we're going to have some fun. All right, so here it is. The correct answers. Who eliminated him? 91 is the Legion of Doom. Who did he defeat in his first match? Is Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. Next question. Who did the Undertaker main event against at SummerSlam 94? Who did he main event against at SummerSlam 1994? Logic, that's so 2002. I like it. I agree. Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah. Also, talking to dude out on the train. Yeah, it happened a few years ago, I believe. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Of course, we'll talk about that. And of course, he'll be on live, so we'll hopefully have some time to pull up some questions, time permitting. But yeah, be with us live, and we're going to have a great time, and I'm excited about it. No, not yet. Nope, not yet. Yes, that is the correct answer. The fake Undertaker, but also known as Primetime Brian Lee, who I was actually a fan of in ECW. Big fan of Primetime Brian Lee in Smoky Mountain and in ECW. I remember watching CWA, Continental Wrestling Association, and he wasn't very popular. he wasn't a popular guy. Not as far as a babyface is concerned. He just wasn't in the very beginning, like toward the I would say going toward the late 80s. He was a name in CWA, but he wasn't like a top guy. He ended up becoming popular, especially latter parts of his CWA. He started to make some noise, and then ECW, of course. Who would forget that crazy bump with Tommy Dreamer going through all those tables from the rafters, and then you get the DOA crap in WWE, which I was not a fan of at all. But yeah, he was also the fake Undertaker. So, all right, let's get to Natalya versus Naomi. We talked about that. Cesaro and Sheamus. Here's the thing with Cesaro and Sheamus. This is why I believe that it makes me wonder if these things are kind of mapped out weeks ahead, or if they're just kind of going on the fly week by week. Because although I don't have to explain myself of how much I'm a big fan of Cesaro, okay, you've listened to the show enough to understand I can almost use the word mark when it comes to Cesaro. I'm a big fan of Cesaro, almost mark status, okay? he deserves to be up there. He deserves to be a main eventer. I don't have to go too far into that because I have many times before. But here's the issue that I have with what happened last night on Raw, or Monday night on Raw. You have Cesaro, who I'm more than happy that he won. I'm totally fine that he won, and it doesn't matter if he beat Sheamus. I don't care about that because, Sheamus has the Money in the Bank case, so it really doesn't matter if he's in the tournament at all. It's really a wasted spot. But it kind of adds some more intrigue that he was in the Money in the Bank just to kind of throw him away for a little bit, kind of make him forgettable in a sense. Having that first round loss makes sense too, because we may see, if neither Reigns nor Ambrose turns. I tweeted this a few days ago. Probably the most logical finish to Survivor Series is Reigns and Ambrose. They go at it. They have an amazing match. They have a big bump, maybe something like a superplex that both of them are just. You know how when you do superplexes, somehow both of them are down. So they do some type of superplex, or they do some type of table bump where they both go into it or something like that. And then toward the end of the match, Sheamus comes out. They're laid out. He kicks both of them. He pins one of them, and he wins the title. That's probably the most logical finish of what we're going to see at Survivor Series, which I don't have a huge problem with that, to be honest with you. Get the case off of Sheamus. It causes some intrigue. It still protects Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, still giving them that road to climb, because as much as people know that I am a Roman Reigns mark, I don't want him to win the title at Survivor Series. It's still too early. There's still some work to be done with Roman Reigns. Still have him climb that ladder until next WrestleMania. So don't put it on Roman Reigns. I would rather for them to put it on Sheamus now and have his reign, last for a few months, because I'd rather for him to kind of wash the case now than for us to still see him have the case next year when you're having the big names come back like the Ortons and the Cenas and the Lesnars and so forth. And so I just get rid of the case now, use it then, and use it in that way, so we could probably have a triple threat match between Reigns, Ambrose, and Sheamus at either TLC or Royal Rumble. Either one. That match would actually be good to watch. Reigns, Ambrose, and Sheamus. You have the uprising heel that's working you have the uprising babyface that's kind of clawing and scratching his way into becoming like a pure babyface in Roman Reigns. You have the pure babyface in Ambrose, and then you have the pure heel in Sheamus. It'll be a nice triple threat match if that happens.
Yeah, it'll be an excellent triple threat match. Put it on Sheamus. I understand that logic. Let him have it for the time being, and Ambrose and Reigns will duke it out in the couple of reviews. I mean, that's obviously is what's making sense with this. I mean, outside of with John Cena not winning it again, which I hope that doesn't happen, you got Cesaro on the top. There's a lot with this up until now. I mean, there's so much more they can do with the tournament. Whether they want to do that or not, that's going to be discussed in obviously episodes to come. So we'll understand not too far from now that this can actually be a better step in the future for the WWE. But again, you always have that, Ambrose and Reigns come to a head. That's going to be a great feud, and I'm absolutely looking forward to that. If I want the WWE on the line for that, not too sure yet. But with Sheamus, he can actually kind of throw a few heads together and make something happen. But in the most part, still a little more good overall. So Ambrose, Reigns, they can make it work. And we're just leave that for the time being.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like the next guy who don't want Sheamus to be champ, but we have to think. It's hard to say this, but we have to think like the WWE thinks in many regards. Although that's not a positive attribute whatsoever, we still have to do it. So we won't just sell ourselves short so much and be just disappointed so much. But it just seems like that's the most logical way that they'll do it. Now, is that my prediction? We'll see next week on the Go Home show. But it just seems like that's the most logical thing to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, who did The Undertaker defeat at SummerSlam 1992? New Day goes against Neville and the Usos. Again, just one of those things that it just makes no sense that they're just throwing together Neville and the Usos. And why am I supposed to... And I've said this before, and Derek knows, I've said this on the show many times. I am a fan of the Usos. I respect their traditional wrestling style. I can dig the paint. Get rid of the war dance. Please. Get rid of the war dance. The Usos has not been a champ. They haven't been a tag team for 6 months. Perfect way to add some type of freshness to their character so we can support the Usos and get behind them. It is not that easy to get behind true, pure baby faces anymore. That's just not the type of crowd that we're dealing with in these days. And it's unfortunate in many regards, but you're going to have to go the extra mile as the creative team to actually get people to support and to get behind these baby faces. You can't just do the same stuff. You can't do it. And if the Usos have been gone for 6 months, why are they coming back to the same exact stuff? You got the war dance. You got the same, when we say, ooh, y'all say, oh, people are going to translate that to boring. It's the same stuff. All the times you have returns, all the other times you have returns, you have something exciting. You have something intriguing. We want to, we want to be excited. We want to have something new and fresh. We want to support this baby face, but there's just not a lot of reasons why we should support this baby face. That's how it is with the Usos right now. No, don't get me wrong. I still like the Usos. I still support them. They're still a very good tag team, very crisp in the ring. There's nothing, there's nothing negative to say. There's nothing negative to say from the body of work for the Usos. But the intrigue of the Usos to the fan base, nothing. I mean, you could have got rid of the war dance. You could have had the war dance be a part of the Titantron, a part of their entrance. Now, I was thinking about that. Like, how could they have changed it up to where we're actually excited to, see the Usos come out? They could have had some type of body, the side of their paint kind of clash on the beginning of the Titantron. Lights could have went off, pyro went off, and then they're right there, with some type of hard-hitting, kind of Polynesian war dance type of rock style song for us to just really be behind them. Because as people know very well, I'm a huge supporter of theme songs. Theme songs can make or break someone's career. Theme songs and wardrobe. Those are the two factors that a lot of people don't talk about. But theme song, just pay attention to the history of notable, legendary pro wrestlers from the 80s on. Their theme song and their wardrobe. When you think of Randy Savage, you think of Stars, you think of, Bright Colors, you think of the Pomp and Circumstance song, you think of Ric Flair, you think of of course, the Ric Flair song with the, awesome gear. You think of Sting, Hulk Hogan with the red and yellow, of course, Real American. You think wardrobe, theme songs can make or break a wrestler. Now, their wardrobe is awesome. I like it. I can dig it. But their theme song and the dance, the war dance, it just has to go.
And I totally agree. It's kind of dated. You kind of think something else would have after they've gone for a while. But obviously it hasn't happened. I mean, the New Day is still relevant. I mean, I don't want to say they're getting stale. They need to push it a little more. Usos, for the most part. I mean, I enjoy the Usos. I respect their talent. But and when they came back, it's the same thing. Just said. There's just enough to really grab onto. So there's no fluidity behind it because the fact that it's the same old Usos. And what are they going to do anything different than they did before? No. It's the same old theme. And we just talked about it earlier with the Dudleys and everybody. I mean, you've got so much going on with the tag team division, but nothing's happening. And the New Day staying relevant just for the fact that they have pure raw talent, and the WWE lets them do their thing. Everybody else, they just kind of shield and go out and put your face paint on or throw someone through a table like we've never seen it before. Give me a break. It's just something, do something fun with it.
Exactly. What type of match did Kamala's the correct answer, great job. What type of match did The Undertaker compete in at SummerSlam 93? And of course, the end of it, we get Bray Wyatt in-ring promo. Undertaker and Kane appears, takes out Wyatt family. That was cool to see, for Kane, for them to have that video package and for Undertaker and Kane to come out and kind of take out the Wyatt family. But here's the thing. You still only have The Undertaker and Kane. Now, this is Survivor Series. Undertaker debuted 2 years ago at a Survivor Series. And here's a spoiler alert. So I'll give a little bit of time for you to mute it if you want to. But here's a spoiler alert. Bray Wyatt calls out The Undertaker and Kane to a Brothers of Destruction versus two members of the Wyatt family of their choosing match on SmackDown. Again, what a horrible way to end a feud that was actually gaining steam, that was actually becoming a little bit intriguing. And, Bray Wyatt has had multiple opportunities to do something right, and whether it's the creative or just him talking so much, his promos are, very captivating, but you can only get so much of his promos and just say, this is just the same type of deal here. And, it's like you gain all that, you draw some suspense of actually having a 4-on-4, which makes perfect sense because the Wyatt family is an actual faction. So the four of them, it would make perfect sense to go against, someone at Survivor Series. But instead, you're choosing two members of the Wyatt family against the Brothers of Destruction. Oh, what a letdown. Just a total letdown.
Absolute letdown. And the thing about it is, the Brothers of Destruction, I enjoyed that last night. I was totally marked out for it. Then against two other Wyatt family members, it's almost a quarter of Wyatt's going to be chosen. But what if they pick the other three or the other two? And we're going to throw you guys against them for the best. It's almost late time right now. The Brothers of Destruction can absolutely pick a couple other members, recruit them, maybe Sting, make him relevant again. You can do a lot more with this match than just have it 2-on-2. The Brothers of Destruction, forget about it. And The Undertaker could take on 2-on-1. You could do this. that would totally make The Undertaker's career and Kane's career if they were to take on all four of the Wyatt family. But it's not going to happen, and it could be The Undertaker's last match. Who knows? But we'll see what goes on next Monday night or at the Survivor Series as far as it can be.
Yeah, I'd be okay if it was Taker's last match, but it won't. Like I said, 32's in Dallas, so we'll see Taker. All right, we got a couple minutes left. It is time. Let's go.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
All right, to catch up with getting all of the title changes in, we're going to do quite a bit of years here, and just which one is the one you can think of the most here. So Sable winning the Women's Championship in '98, defeating Jacqueline. Of course, the Deadly Game tournament was '98, could have been similar to what we see now, but unfortunately not. And then Rock winning the vacant championship there. Big Show defeating Triple H and The Rock to win the WWE Championship in '99, and that was the '99 title change. And of course, with the year 2000, we saw a title change of title. I don't think there was any title changes in 2000. Actually, I think 2000 was an interesting year period of pro wrestling. Very, very interesting. 2001, we saw the women's championship was vacant, so there was a six-pack challenge, and Trish Stratus won that one. And of course, the unification, the Dudley Boys defeated the Hardy Boys. It was a unification match there. And also unification match, Edge unifying the Intercontinental and Intercontinental U.S. Championship. That was a really awesome. 2001 was a really good time. And then 2002, real quick, we'll do the rest next week. We have Shawn Michaels winning the Elimination Chamber. So, and of course, Big Show winning the WWE Championship. With help of Paul Heyman and Los Guerreros winning the tag team championships. So, real quick there. Give me 10 seconds of which one's your most memorable one.
The best one, I think, from those years, probably Shawn Michaels winning the Elimination Chamber. It was when he just came back from his back injury that Triple H gave him after he's been gone for a while, about 4 years or so. 2002 was Shawn Michaels' year for the Survivor Series.
Absolutely. We'll do 03 to 14 next week after the Daivari interview. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for just all your support. And I can't say it so much. Follow at Crave Wrestling. Let's talk wrestling throughout the week. And thank you so much for listening. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And thank you so much. Goodbye.